Hello students, as we know, data type is a property of a variable that determines the type of data that can be stored in a variable, the type of operations that can be performed on a variable, and the size of a variable. The different data types that are supported by C are character, integer, float, and double. So far, we have used only integer data type. Today, we will do some exercises on character data type. In real life, we have got data which is in the form of numbers, and we have got data that is in the form of characters. Like we have got age, which is a number, so we can store that in integer. We have got salary, which is a number, we can store that in integer. If we have got the price of item, which may be a decimal number or a radius of a circle or so many other physical quantities like volume, temperature, where you have got numeric data, and the cases where the data has got a decimal point, we can store that type of data in float and double. Now the question arises, why to store the data which is character type, such as name of a person or name of a city or name of an organization or name of a father. This type of data, which is the set of characters, is to be stored in a variable which has a data type char. But a single character variable can hold one character only. I'll be doing some basic exercises on character data type in this lecture, so that at least you can handle this data type in your programs. And for the coming lectures where I have to deliver topics like structures, classes, I'll be needing this data type here. Now, how we declare a character variable? Simply in the declarative statement, we give the data type as char and then give the name of variable as c. Now, or any name that you want. I have taken name as c. Now, character variable is capable of storing a single character, like integer variable, which is capable of storing a single number. But single number can have many digits, but character variable cannot have more than one character. It stores a single character. Single character means either a alphabet A or B or a digit 1. At that time, when I store one numeric 1 in it, at that time the data will be treated as character, not as a number. Okay, so we can store alphabets or digits in a character variable. Such data is called as alphanumeric data. Alphanumeric means which is alphabet type or number type. Okay, now how do we initialize the character variables at the point of declaration? Same way as we do for integers, but here the difference is that the character constant which we are assigning to a character variable should be enclosed within the single quotes. Okay, now format specifier for the character data type is percentage %c. We already know that the format specifier for the integer data is percentage %d. But for the character data, the format specifier is percentage %c. Since in scanf and printf we have to give the format specifier, so whenever you will be inputting a variable with the scanf from the keyboard, you will have to give the format specifier as percentage %c in case that variable is a character variable. Now if you want to display the variable or the contents of a variable on the user screen with a printf which is of type character, then you have to give the format specifier as percentage %c again. Now for inputting from the keyboard, we have many other functions other than scanner that can be used for inputting a character variable from the keyboard. They will function in the same way as scanf, in a way that both, that is these functions, that is scanf and the other functions which will be used for input, will take a input from the keyboard. Of course there are differences also that I will show you practically before explaining them, because I feel that way it is better. Now scanf can be used to input a single character from a keyboard and store that character in a variable whose format specifier and name is given in the scanf. The functions that are similar to scanf in the sense they take the input from the keyboard and store it in a character are getChar, getChe and getCh. getChe, getChar and getCh. getChar stands for get the character. Getting the character means take the input from the keyboard and store it in a character. getChe stands for get the character and echo it on the user screen. And getCh means get the character or input the character from the keyboard and store that in a variable and don't echo it on the screen. E stands for echo. Okay, echo means displaying the character that you have pressed on the keyboard on the user screen. Then for outputting a character variable, we can equally use the printf and other function that is similar to printf in case we are displaying the character on the user screen is putchar. Putchar means display the character on the monitor. So putchar is used for displaying displaying a character on a user screen or monitor. Now how do we use getChar, getCh and getChe and putchar? For input functions, that is getChar, getCh and getChe, the syntax is like this: variable equal to getChar, variable equal to getCh and variable is equal to getChe. That is, the character that will be inputted from the keyboard will be stored in the variable which is mentioned in the LHS of the assignment statement. Again, variable is equal to getCh. This will also function in the same way, and this one, that is getChe, will also function in the same way. All these three functions will take the input from the keyboard and store it in a variable, but the way they do it is different, and those differences I will show you practically, and then you can note it down. For displaying a variable, contents of a variable on the screen or user screen or monitor, you will use putchar or printf. Okay, so let us start our exercise with the character data type. Okay, I will go to the IDE and I will show you how to do it. So initially, if I have an integer variable, I'll take an example of int because you have been doing it. Now I can initialize or can initialize it at the point of declaration. Then I have got another integer variable, say y. I leave it uninitialized. Now I take the input from the keyboard for the y. How do you do it? Scanf. Then you say format specifier of y because it's an integer, %d, then followed by ampersand, and I will say y. So this is how I used to input the integers. Now I will also use RSCR here, okay, to clear the screen. Now then I can show you how to display it. Printf. Now again format specifier, that is %d, and the name of variable only. Of course, first we write the comma, then we write the name of a variable. Okay. Before this, I can give the message so that the user will understand what I am doing. Printf. Enter the value of y. I am first using the integer data, even though I have to show you how we can use character data, but the same analogy or can be used for the character variables also. The value y is, because if you know the difference between the integer data and character data, of course there is a difference in the way we initialize integers and characters, and there is a difference between the printf and scanf when we use integer variables or when we use character variables. So this example will clarify that part for you. Okay, now let me add the watch for y. That means I'll be monitoring what is happening with the y, and I'll be also watching what is happening with x. Now I can equally declare two character variables and you can watch them later on, or right now I can, one variable is a, now it's of character data type, and another variable is say h. You can give variable name as meaningful names. I am giving single alphabets because this is a demo program to explain to you what is the difference between character data and integer data. As I already told you, integer can hold numbers, but character data type variables hold characters. Okay. Now suppose you take my name, that is Roof Ali. It is not a single character. It has got ROUF space and ALI. ROUF, that is 4 characters, space, that is the 5th character, and then ALI, that is 3 more characters. That is 4 plus 1, that is 5, and 5 plus 3, that is 8 characters. Now the character variable is capable of storing a single character. Okay, so I'll be needing 8 character variables to store my name. Okay, that we'll discuss later. Let us now see how we are able to handle the integers, and this we have been doing so far. I have an integer variable y and x I am initializing equal to 90. See, now I go into trace mode. There is some error. Let me try to figure out what is it. Oh, CLR SCR, there should be a terminator at the end. Now there is no error. We have removed the errors. Now I run the program. Now this is my y and this is my x. See, the value of x is 90 because I have initialized it at the point of declaration. Y I have not initialized, so it has got a junk value 657. This value I have not given to the y. Then next, now the statement that is executed is clear screen. After that, I display the message, enter the value of y. If you observe in the user screen, the message has come. Then after that, I scan the value of y. I give the value of y as suppose 67. Now you see the y is 67. So what is the use of scanf? We take the value. Scanf, what it does, it takes the input from the keyboard and stores that value in the variable you have specified in the scanf. What is the variable that I have specified? I have specified the variable y. So if I would have specified x, then the input I would have given from the keyboard would have been stored in x. But this time, since I have specified y, so the value of the variable, what value that will be inputted from the keyboard will be stored in y. Now next, I give the message, the value of y is, and here what I am doing in this printf, I am displaying the value of y on the user screen. This is simple exercise to show you how we display the value of a variable on a screen, and we might need it whenever we want to display maybe sometimes answer, or we want to see what we have stored in the variable. This depends on the usage, but whenever you want to display on the user screen, you have to use printf. You have to give the format specifier and the name of a variable. Okay, now if you see, the value that is displayed on the screen is 67 because we have given value as 67. So this exercise showed you how to input the y from the keyboard and how to display the value of y on the user screen. Same thing we'll be using to input the value of, now say, character variable a. Okay, so I'll say input the value of a. Now what is the difference here? Instead of format specifier d, I have to give the format specifier c, and I have to give the name of a. Okay, then in order to display the a on the screen, I have to again give the format specifier c, and name of the variable is a. Now one important thing that you will be remembering is that whenever you use scanf and printf to print the character variables, use a function called fflush. This is used to clear the buffers, then stdin. Okay, that I can explain to you later, but try to use this because this does not what you call lead to errors once we use character data, or the we take the right inputs with the help of this fflush because we clear the buffer, otherwise the input will be taken from the buffer, or the outputs as well, they will be taken from the buffer. Now one more thing here you remember, whenever we input a character variable, don't forget to use fflush and then use a keyword stdin, standard input, within the braces. Whenever I print for integer variables, I was not using fflush. Okay, this is better because we need to clear the buffers, otherwise the inputs are taken from the buffers. What are buffers, that I'll tell you later. Okay, no need to worry about that. Just simply you remember that for whenever you want to input the character variables with scanf or printf or getchar, putchar, and or getche or getch, whenever you use these functions, you have to use fflush. Okay, now let me run this program. So, and if you see here, now I will watch a and h also. First I will see what is stored in a, and I will also see what is stored in h. See, h is because I have not given the initial value to the h, therefore it is showing it as an undefined string. Now enter the value of a. My matter of concern is the variable a now, because I am inputting it from the keyboard here. Okay, by using this scanf. So let me see, a has got what initially as a junk value, that is something /x2, and that /x2, if you see, that is shown within the single quotes. When you see the number here, that is x, that is the integer, you see this is not shown in the single quotes. But for the character data, if you see A is a character type of data, it is shown within the single quotes. There are two types of quotes, one is single quote and one is a double quote. Double quotes has got two single quotes in the beginning and two single quotes. Actually there is a special key for the on the keyboard for the double quotes and separate key for single quotes, and you know what are double quotes and single quotes, the same quotes that you are using in English. Okay, now I flushed my buffer, I scan the value of the A. Suppose I enter. Now here you should remember that, see how the things are happening. First I press T, that is displayed on the screen. So scanf, it displays the character on the screen. It is because of the scanf, and then it also remembers that character. Then when you press the enter, when I press the enter, the input will be terminated. So scanf will always wait for the enter. See, first I press T, then still it is waiting there. The cursor is blinking. Now once I press the enter, you see what is happening. Once I press the enter, the input terminated, and the T, if you see, it is stored in A. This single character T is stored in A. Now character variables are capable of storing a single character. Okay, then you can see the value of that variable, that is A, on the screen. You see here A is at T. Okay, now I did not modify this message, let me change it to A. Now let us see how we initialize. We'll do exercise again on this, and let us see how we initialize the character variables at the point of declaration. Now for that you have to do equal to sign, and the character you want to store here, you have to give that in a single quote. Now suppose I want to store greater than symbol in it. This will be taken as a single character. Okay, character is not necessary alphabet, or it's not necessary a digit. It can be any character on the keyboard. That is a printable character. Now on the keyboard we have two types of characters. One is printable character and one is non-printable character. Printable characters are those characters when you press them, they appear on the monitor also. That means you can print them. But there are certain characters which are not printable. Okay, that is, you don't see them on the monitor when you press those keys that represent those characters. Then there are certain keys which are called as control keys. When you press those keys, like Alt key, it's not represented by a character. Okay, these certain keys, they are called control keys, and those control keys are used to control the operations. Okay, so entire keyboard is not used for typing. Certain keys are used for special functions. Okay, now in H I have stored a single character variable. Let it be, I stored greater than, let it be simple one, say S. Now I have stored a S in character variable H, and once I, what's the difference between initializing an integer and a character variable? You can see here, when I initialize the X, I give the number, but I did not put number in a single quotes. I simply give the number. This is a numeric constant 90, but S is taken as a character constant, and it should be always given within a single quotes. So there is a syntactic difference between the initialization of an integer variable and the initialization of a character variable. You cannot simply write S like this, that is without single quotes. Okay, if you do that, see what will happen. Let us do that only. That let us compile. Once I compile, error has come. What is the error? Undefined symbol S. Because once you take this, you can see here there is a undefined symbol S. Okay, what does that mean? S is taken as a variable name, not as a character constant. So in order to differentiate between the character constants and the variable names, what we have to do is, here you see we have to put S within the single quotes. Once we compile, now errors won't come. Alt C, you can compile, see no error is there. If you don't put the character constant within the single quotes, the compiler will error. So you have to remember that whenever you want to initialize the character constants at the point of declaration, you have to give them within the single quotes, and whenever you give the integer constants or the decimal constants, you need not to put them into the single quotes. Now decimal constant can have 2 digits, okay, but the character variable can store only single character. Let me try to store 2 characters in this, suppose, or 3 characters in this. Let us see what it says. Again there is an error. What is the error? This is again a proof character constant must be 1 or 2 characters long. Okay, there are certain character constants that are 2 characters long, but they are treated as a single character. There are certain special characters that I'll be telling you later. Okay, so one of such characters is a /0, even though it is 2 characters, but it will be taken as a single character. So whatever you have to do when you are using those special constants, at that time you can give 2 characters, but they will be treated as a single character. Now the rule is that whenever you want to initialize a character constant in a character variable, you have to give it within the single quotes. Now another important point is that character variable can store only 1 character, but if you compare that with the integer constant can have many digits. Another thing is that it's not necessary to assign the alphabets only. You can assign a digit, single digit, you can assign a alphabet, or you can assign any other special character to the character variable, and that character variable will store that character in that memory location, which it is actually. Suppose h will now store a plus sign. Okay, if I put 0, h will store a digit 0. If I put a character like p, it will store a character p in it. But how many characters? A single character. I have been impressing on this because there is a difference between integer data and the character data. A single character variable can store only a single character. Okay, and character constants are usually single character, but in certain special cases they are 2 characters, but C internally treats it as a single character. Okay, now there are certain other technical concepts related to character variables and integers also, but I am taking the basic concepts at this level so that later on when we go ahead you can understand well. Now let us again watch it once more so that it will be clear. Now see here, I have a character variable a that is uninitialized. If you say a, it holds some character like /x2. okay, then this is a junk value. Okay, now h is also having the junk value, that is a percentage sign. I did not assign this. Now I am assigning p character to the h. You see now h is holding the p. Then I am clearing the screen. Then I say enter the value of a. Now a is a character variable. I will be inputting this variable from the keyboard. You can use scanf for that, but you have to give format specifier as %c. For the integers you give %d. Then you have to give the name of a character variable also, and in case of integers you will give the name of the character. The only difference is that in scanf you have to give the proper format specifier. Okay, now I give a single character. This is scanf is right now executing. It is waiting for the character that will be typed by me, and I have typed I. Then it is waiting for the enter key. Now once I press the enter key, scanf is terminated. It has captured the input and it has stored it in A, and the proof is here. In A now we have got I. Before this we had a junk value in it. Okay, then now what's the proof that value has been already stored in A? You can display the A, and if A displays now I, yes, I is displayed. This is a proof that whatever you have typed on the keyboard initially and then stored in A is already there, and now the same has been displayed on the user screen using the printf, but the difference is that you have to give the format specifier of the A. This is what is the character data. Character data can store a single character, not more than that. So if you want to store more than 1 character, you have to give so many character variables. Like suppose I want to give my name as roof, and or I'll say I store a word roof only. Say in one variable I'll store one alphabet, then I will have another variable, say it will be h1. In that I can store another variable. This is another exercise that will be beneficial for you to understand. Then in another variable, say h2, I will store another alphabet. Then in another variable again, I have, because my name has not yet been stored, I have only stored ROUF. My full spelling is ROUF. I have to store ROUF. I have stored ROUs only still. So in each variable I have stored one character. Now my name is stored in how many variables? I have only stored my first name. My actual name, my name is Rauf Ali. My first name is Rauf. I stored Rauf. This is simple indication or simple example to indicate to you that the single character variable is capable of storing one character only. Okay. Now if I want to print what is stored in this, I can remove all this so that you will understand. So, printf %c, I'll first display h because R is in h, and I have to display in the same order so that you can see correct spelling on the screen. So here I am giving you the example how I store my name. I could have equally inputted my name from the keyboard, then I would have to use 4 scanfs, and each scanf I have to give the variable. Now h, then h1, then h2, then h3. No, sorry, then h3. Let me now show you stepwise. First h is created, h2 and h3 is created, and now screen is cleared. Now first I am displaying the h. Let us see what is displayed. Now R has been displayed because it is stored in h. Then in h1 O is stored. It will be displayed now because that statement I have executed. Then in h2 again U is stored and that is there. Now for h3 again, so my full name has been displayed, but it is tedious. Once I store names, and this was easier because I initialized here, and if I would have to take input, then I would have to this is by this example I want to show to you that a single character variable can only store one character, and if you have to store the entire name like roof, you cannot store it in a single variable. Let me try here and it will be clear. As I showed you earlier, it gave the errors because such examples are not tried. There's an error. What is the error? Character constant must be 1 or 2 characters long. So you cannot store more than one character in a what you call a character variable. So you cannot store the roof. So how do you store the roof? You use 4 character variables, and this becomes a tedious task. Now for inputting also, you have to input each character variable individually, but it will give correct outputs as well as correct inputs will be taken. Okay. Now let us use other functions. The other functions that can be used to take the inputs and are getChar, getChe, and getCh. They will, but how we use them, that I am going to show you. But I given you one constraint that you should use fflush before these functions, whether scanf, printf, or getChar, putChar, or getChe or getCh. You have to use fflush. It will save your program from errors or wrong outputs and wrong inputs. So let me first input. Now my character variable say a. How do you use it? A equal to getChar. We don't have to give a format specified here. it is simply a function. GetChar is a function that takes the input from the keyboard and stores it in a character that is in a variable that is given in the LHS of the assignment statement. So this is how we use it. A equal to getChar. What will getChar do? It will take an input from the keyboard, a single character, and then save it in A. Let us now execute this program and you will see how it works. Now here, first I flush. Now getChar. See here now, this is important because you should focus here what I am doing. I first press the character. I have pressed U, so U appeared on the screen, but still it is waiting on the screen. What for it is waiting? It is waiting for the enter key. Once you press the enter key on the keyboard, the input will be taken. And if you see, I have pressed U and that U is stored in A. The indication is here in the watch. You see A is now initialized to U. Once more again, I'll show. Once the getChar, it waits for the input. Say suppose I can press any key. Suppose I press 8. Now this 8 is right now not taken as a digit, it is taken as a character data. So getChar waits for the character, then it waits for the enter key. Now once you press the enter key, you see it has taken the input and the input stored in A. Okay. If you specify other variable other than A here, it will be stored there. So the name of the variable that is stored in LHS should be a character variable, and that value that the getChar accepts from the keyboard, that value is stored in A. getChar is a function that is used for input like scanf. Okay, so we have another option available for character data, that is getChar, and I have explained how it works. Now let us go for another function and see how that works. That is, one second. Now I use another function, that is getCHA. Okay, let us see this example and see how it works. Now first I flush my STDM. Now this is getChar. Again I have to press the character, suppose R, then it waits for the enter key, then I press the enter key. Okay, now getChar also did one thing, it showed the screen, the character that I pressed on the screen. Okay, now I use getCHE. See the difference? It is again waiting for the character. The moment I press a character, you see what happens? The function has terminated. It did not wait for the enter key. So getCHE stands for get the character from the keyboard, echo it on the screen. Echo it on the screen means the character that I pressed was displayed on the user screen. What you are seeing right now is the user screen. So the character that I have pressed was displayed on the user screen, as well as that character was stored in A. Now initially I took input from the getChar, but that input, that character now was replaced by the character that I entered through getCHE. Once again, because very important, F7. Now flush. Now once again you see getChar is waiting for the character that I should press on the keyboard. Once I press the character on the keyboard, another important thing is that once you do it practically, you will press a key on a keyboard and that character will be equally displayed on the user screen. Okay, and then second thing that getChar waits for is the enter key. So once you use getChar, it will wait for the input. Once you press the key, it will display that character on the screen, and once that is displayed on the screen, it will still wait for one more thing, that is the enter key. And once you press the enter key, the getChar is terminated. It has completed its job, and the character that you have inputted has been stored in A. I have pressed the O. Now you can see A in the watch window, O is stored. Before this there was a junk value. Now F7 again. Now let us see how getCHE stands for getChar with echo. Okay, the difference between getChar and getCHE is that the moment I will press a key, you will see that key will be displayed on the screen, and equally that it will not wait for the enter key, and the key you have pressed will be, the character you have pressed on the keyboard will be stored in the character variable. See here. Now see, I had pressed U and U is here. You can see u is also equally displayed on the user screen. Since there was no other statement, the entire program got executed, and you could not see the output now. Okay, now let me see what is show you how the get ch works. I am using f-flush before every input function. These get char, get che, and get che, and get ch. Sorry, these three, that is get char, get che, and get ch. These are all three are character input function. For they are used to input the single character. The difference between the three functions is whether they display that character on the screen or not, or they wait for enter key or not. Now we have seen in get char, it takes the input from the keyboard, displays it on the user screen, and waits for the enter key. The difference in get che, we have seen that it accepted the character from the keyboard, displayed it on the screen. E stands for echo, and it did not wait for the enter key. Okay, then the get ch. What is the difference here? For get ch, again, you let us see practically what happens here. First is get char. I pressed the character, it accepted the character. Now it is waiting for the enter key. Get char is executed. Okay, then the next is get che. I pressed the character has been displayed on the screen, but it did not wait for the enter key. Okay, then I am going for the next, that is get ch. I press the character. Suppose I press p now. P. See, the p has been accepted. How do you know that? If you see in A, now p is the value that is stored. Before this, there was some other value. Okay, now this is an indication that get ch has worked. It has accepted the p and it has stored in A, but has it displayed the p on the screen? No, the p is not displayed on the user screen. That is the difference. The difference lies whether these functions display the character on the screen or not. And we have seen the first two, that is get char and get ch, display it on the screen, but get ch does not display it on the screen. And get char waits for the enter key, but get che and get ch don't wait for the enter key. All the three functions are what you call character handling functions, or sorry, they are character input functions, and these functions can be used to input the single character from the keyboard and store it in a variable, but that variable should be a character variable. These functions are specialized for the character input. Okay, now we have got one more function that is called put char, and how we use it to display the character on the screen is simply use put char. We use like this, put char. Then here you have to give variable name within the braces. This is how this function differs from the get char, get che, and get ch. In get char, get ch, and get ch, you have to give the variable name on the left hand side followed by the equal to sign, but in put char you have to give the character variable name within the short braces that you want to display. Let us once again execute this program. Now here we have got get char, it which I press U. Okay, now in A U is stored. Now I take some other, I again take an input, but again stored in A, so previous input will be erased. So I take O. Now it did not wait for the enter key, and you see here O is stored in the A. Then I use get ch, and say I press K, you will not be able to see that. And now if you see here, it has not displayed the K, but it has taken that input. Now again put char, it will be used to display the character on the screen. See, K has been displayed now. Okay, this is the difference between get char, get che, and get ch, and put char. Put char is a specially output function, but get char, get che, and get ch are input functions. This is how we input a single character from the keyboard. And now if I have to give my name of a school or a name of a college or an address which is more than one characters, I'll have to create so many character variables, because the limitation is that in one character variable we are storing one alphabet, okay, or one character. What is the way out of this? The way out of it is arrays or character arrays. In character arrays, since it will be the group of variables of same data type, then we'll be able to store more than one characters in those variables. Again, naming will be easy. It is same as integer arrays. that I have already explained, and we'll go to that. We'll go to the next slide here. Now, before I go to the next slide, again explain to you what is getChar. In getChar, you have I say it is an input function. It displays whatever key you press and then waits for the enter key. This I showed practically. getChe, it is again an input function. It displays because it's a E stands for echo. That means it displays a character on the screen, but it does not wait for the enter key. And getCh is again an input function. It does not display the character on the screen, and it does not wait for the enter key. All these three have a different application depending upon where you are using them. When you are taking only a single character input, at that time you can take character input. Suppose you are asking him to enter M for male and F for female. That is a single character input. For that we can use a getChar. But once we are taking array inputs and inputting each character and waiting for entire key will be a tedious process. Suppose you want to enter my name, and if you use single character variables for storing my name, each time you if you use a getChar here, each time you press a character, it will wait for the entire key, sorry, enter key, and that will be tedious. For 10 characters it will be 10 times wait for the enter key. But getCh is better there for entering the what you call names or organization names, because you can input the alphabet and it will not wait for the enter key. But getCh is specialized for the cases where you want to enter passwords, because if you type your password on the keyboard and if that is displayed on the screen, anybody can steal your password. Okay, what we do normally is that we take password input with getCh, and once we have pressed the password character for a password, that is input is taken and that is stored in a character variable. So password is already remembered within the system, but it is not displayed on the screen. Instead of that, you can display a star symbol with a putchar. Then I can give you this is an exercise how we enter a password using and now you can use getCh and putchar there to enter a password. Okay, that is an exercise for you. Now next where we go is I have also shown the usage of getChar, getChe and getCh and putchar also. Now I have to explain character arrays or strings. Okay, let us know what are character arrays or strings. We already know integer arrays. Integer arrays are set of elements. In fact, all arrays are set of elements. So that is the general definition of an array. Array is a set of elements of homogeneous data type that are stored in contiguous memory locations. I need not to explain this because I have already explained. But so far as the context of character arrays is concerned, these arrays are again set of elements of homogeneous data type. That means the data type of all the elements is character. In integer arrays we had data type of all the elements as integers. For floats likewise, and for doubles likewise. Now there's a special part so far as character arrays are concerned. Their second name is strings. So how we define a string? String is a set of characters terminated with null character. Null character is this slash and a 0. That's a backward slash and a 0. Okay, but this is taken as a single character. I think I told you before this that there are certain characters, they are represented by two symbols, but they are taken as a single character. Now strings are set of characters. The only difference here is that in the strings the last character should be null character. Why is it like that? That I will explain once I explain to you input output function. Okay, now you should remember string is a set of characters terminated by /0. Now I have declared an array str of 15. So this array is capable of storing 15 characters because each element is a character variable. I need not to say something about index or subscript, but still I will tell you that the index of the first element of this array is 0 and the index of the last element of this array is 14, because index is always element number 1 less than the element number. Okay, now if you have a character array of another character array, say str15, you can initialize its variables. Now how many values you can give for these variables? Only one value for one element. That is, suppose I want to store, now I have already shown you how we initialize a single variable. We give a single character constant in it. In this case we can give 15 character constants maximum, but since it is a string, it should terminate with a /0. That means the last character should be a /0. No, it is not necessary that you will use all the 15 variables. Now suppose I want to store my name in it, that is Roof Ali, but Roof Ali will occupy 4 for Roof, Ali 3 for Ali, and 1 for space, that is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters, but the array has been declared as 15 characters. Okay, therefore the string Roof Ali will use only first 8 characters of this string. Okay, and after first 8 characters the 9th character should be /0. Now if I want to store a word power in this array, which I have taken in this example, because I am not storing Roof Ali in it, I am storing power. Now P will be stored in first element, that is str of 0. O will be stored in second element, that is str of 1. W will be stored in str of 2. E will be stored in str of 3. R will be stored in str of 4, and /0 will be stored in str of 5. So this string has got only 5 characters other than /0. Why this is called string? Because it is a set of characters now terminated by a /0. One important thing that I want to impress here only is that in a string array all the characters can be used or all the characters cannot be used, but you cannot store more than 15 characters in this array, and the 15th character, in case it stores alphabets in all the elements or characters in all the elements, should be /0. Now in case it is lesser than that, then the /0 should be placed at the point where your string enters. Now my second string is deep, but you see the character array itself is 15 characters, but I am storing a string deep in it. So that is the difference between the character arrays or strings, in a sense that strings are set of characters terminated by /0. Now those set of characters can be less than the capacity of the character array. It can never be the set of characters that you want to store in a str can be never more than its capacity. Now if you store or assign a string to an array in double quotes, that is another way of initializing the array. In this case the D will be stored in the first element, E will be stored in the second element, another E will be stored in the third element, and P will be stored in the fourth element. /0 will be placed by the compiler in the string. Okay, that is not your responsibility, that is not your headache, but once you initialize within double quotes. But if you do this type of initialization, the first one, here you have to give the /0. This is a programmer's responsibility. Now in another example, what I am storing a string I am with a space in between. So my I will be stored in the first element, but the space has to be stored. It's not that the spaces are not stored. Spaces are represented by what you call characters, because each key press is taken as a character. Whenever you want to type the string I space am, you will have to press the space bar. Okay, and at the end again there is a /0. Now there are two ways of inputting and two ways of outputting the strings. For input function we can use a scanf. Of course we have to use a proper format specifier for the arrays, and that is %s, and for displaying again we will be using the format specifier %s. Then there are these two special input output functions I'll be using for inputting and displaying the arrays. I would be using scanf and printf. I recommend for the exercises that will be followed, where I'll be using in my programs the strings, I'll be using gets and puts. Gets is the input function and puts is the output function. Okay. Then next we'll see how the character arrays are actually represented in memory. Now suppose I stored in the character array I am, the string I space am. The first character is occupied, the I is stored in the first element of the array, then the space is stored in the second element of the array, and then the A is stored in the third element of the array, and M is stored in the fourth element of the array, and /0 is to be stored in the fifth element of the array. Each character occupies one location because each element is a character variable and it can only store one character. Even spaces are to be stored, that is, you will not assume that spaces are not stored, and each character is stored in ASCII form. Actually, we don't store characters in an array. You cannot have alphabets within a memory. It is in the form of binary. So each character will be represented by a binary value, and that value is we call as a ASCII form. ASCII form, American Standard Code for Information Interchange. Each character each alphabet on the keyboard is represented by a value that's called an ASCII value, and actually the characters are stored in the ASCII form, not in the form that you see it. I have written it on the memory. Actually, A cannot be written on the memory. Actually, zeros and ones are to be stored in the memory. Okay. Then usage of gets and puts. This is my character array. I can use gets to input the string from the keyboard. Simply you have to see gets s, where s is the name of a string, and puts s, where s is the name of the string. Then there are two methods of input of the array. One is character arrays or strings can be input element by element. That is, you can input one by one. Say each element in a character array can be input by using a getChar or getCh or getChe or even scanf or printf, but single element. And you can also input the entire character array. This is how it makes it different from the what you call integer arrays. The first difference between integer and character data type was that when we assign the constants to the integer variables, they should be assigned directly, but if you assign the character constants to the character variables, they should be assigned within the single quotes. Now character arrays can be inputted element by element, that is one by one, but there is also a way to input the entire character array with a single statement, and that I am going to show you how we use gets, the function, to input the entire array. Then how we use puts to display the entire array, and we'll be using gets and puts, not scanf and printf, for the coming exercises where we are using character arrays. Okay. Then in the end, I want to tell you that in the coming lectures I might use string handling functions, and I'll show you how to use these functions. The string handling functions are string cat, that is when you want to combine two character strings. This is stands for str concatenation. And then we have string compare, where in this function you can compare the two strings. And then you have string copy, how you can copy one string into another string. Then there is a string length, where you count the number of characters in a string. I won't take these in detail right now. I'll be handling the separate lectures for it. Right now my purpose is simply to show you what are the input and output functions that I'll be using for the coming programs, and give you the brief introduction of these functions. Okay, and later on we can have a separate videos on these functions. Okay, so this is simply a preliminary concepts. Okay, how we go ahead with our programs on strings. Now let us go into IDE and do it practically, because theoretical concepts are not. Let me declare an array, character array of 40 elements. The name of array I'll give as str. Okay, then I will give one more array. that is char with a different name, of course, str1. Let it be also 30 characters. Now another character array str2 of 40 characters. Then another character array str3 of 30 characters. Now I will be explaining these. Now character array, the first character array has got 40 elements, each of type character. The name of the first element is str of 0 and the name of the last element is str of 39. Then you know the naming procedure for the arrays. Same procedure is used for integer arrays and character arrays. That is, to refer a particular element, you have to give the name of the array and you have to give the subscript or index of that element, and that subscript or index of that element can be given in two ways, either as a constant or it can be given as a variable. This we have discussed in arrays. Okay, if you are not having the idea of that, you should watch the video on arrays. Okay, now the another string is str1 of 30 characters. The another is str2. This is an array of 40 characters. Then we have got another of 30 characters. So I have declared 4 arrays. Memory representation already same like integer arrays. These are stored in contiguous memory locations. The elements, all the elements are homogeneous. That is, each element has a data type of char. Actually we are declaring here 40 variables of type character. The ease is in naming those variables. Okay, that I have already explained. Now how do we initialize the arrays? First method that I showed for, let me show it for integer arrays. If I take an integer array of 5 elements, okay, then I give the values like this: 1, 2, 3, 6, 23. How many values I have given? I have given 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 values, because these are, array has got 5 elements. Okay, now there is one more possibility here. Let us see that first, then you will understand. Now suppose I give an extra value. Since the array has 5 elements and I have given the 6 values, since I have handled the integer arrays already, so I will use the analogy of the integer arrays to explain the character arrays. Okay, so but this array is now 5 elements. I am giving, instead I am giving 6 elements. Let us see once I compile what happens. There is an error. What is the error? Too many initializers. Yes, this is true. There are too many initializers in this. Okay, there are too many initializers in this. How many initializers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many elements? 5. 6 cannot be accommodated in 5. So if I change it back to the 5 and compile it again, I should not get error. No, I'm not getting any error. Okay, so there is no problem again. Now let me try one more thing. I give lesser than 5 values. What happens in this case? See, when I gave more than 5 values, obviously there was an error, because there is no capacity for the 5 values to more than 5 values. When I give more than 5 values, now if I give 5 values, okay, 5 values can be 5 constants or 5 values can be accommodated in 5 variables, because array elements are basically variables, and here each variable is of type integer. Okay, now if I give lesser than 5 values and compile, let us see what. No errors. This is an important observation that you should recall. That is, if you declare an array of n elements, size n elements, you have to give either n values in its initialization, or you can give lesser than n values in its initialization, or but you cannot give, I repeated it 3 times, more than the values or more than the size. If you have declared an array of n elements, you cannot give 6 values in its initialization. This we have seen practically. I don't think you will be having doubt in it, but we can give lesser number of values in its initialization. Let us try to watch it, and I think that way it will be clear. Let us try to watch it. Okay, first I go to the watch window. Let me remove all these because this was the previous program. Now I add a watch, Alt D, watch. I am going to watch my array, that is A. Okay, and I am going to watch another array, add watch, say str. One is the integer array and one is the character array. Now let me first run this program. See here, I have declared an array of 5 elements. These are the 5 elements: 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Initially all the 5 are having junk values when the array is being created, and after the creation the values will be assigned. This is called initialization at the point of declaration. But initially first the array is created, and in that step itself it will be having junk values. But the moment you initialize the array at the point of declaration, these values will be assigned to the elements of the array. Since here we have given only 3 values, but we should have given 5 values, but we can give lesser than 5 values. This we have seen. Once we compiled, it did not give errors. Let us see what happens to these values, where they are stored. That is the first value, second value and third value. See here, they are stored in the order. The first value 1 comes in the first element, the second value 2 comes in the second element, the third value 3 comes in the third element, and the places where we have not given the values, zeros are assigned to them. My point here is that we can give lesser number of values in an array at the point of declaration. We can give the lesser number of values in an array, initialize the array to the lesser number of values than the size of array. It will not lead to errors. Okay, this is my point. Now if I have got a str of 40 characters, now I have to assign the values. I will use the same procedure, but here I have to give character constants because the data type of each str element is character. You cannot give characters like this, A comma B comma C. You have to give these values within the single quotes. Suppose you are giving the 3 values only. That means you are giving lesser values than the elements. You have 40 elements, but you are giving 3 values only in the initialization. So these 3 values will be stored in the first 3 elements of str, and after that you have to store another value, that is /0. This is your responsibility. The last character should be /0 in this method. Okay, then you close your braces. See, the only difference between the initialization of the integer arrays and the character arrays, this is the same that is with the integer variables and the character variables. Integer constants can be given directly, but the character constants have to be given within the what you call single quotes. Here I have made an error. You should write B within the single quotes, then we should place comma here, then we have to write C within the single quotes, and we should place a comma here. Each constant, see, the first constant A is within the single quotes, then comma, second value, that is again within the single quotes, then the third value, that is again within the single quotes, then the fourth value, that is again within the single quotes. So now ABC is a string that is stored in a character array str. Okay, now how I define the string? It is a set of characters terminated by the /0. That means the last character should be /0. Why is it like that? That I will explain later. Okay, but here my point is that we can give lesser initial values to an array than the size of array. That means some elements of the array will be left uninitialized. Let us run the program and see what happens. See here, see, I've got first tile the windows. Okay, let me close this so that you can see the entire thing. Okay, let me again try it. This is so that you can view the entire thing. Now this is my watch window. This is my str actually of 40 characters. See, it is initialized to junk values initially. A has been initialized also to the junk values, and since this statement will be executed, now you got the initial values of the A. Now this statement will be executed, that is the char str, because it is a highlighted statement. Okay, now str of 40 A, B, comma, C. What is the value that you get in the first element? That is str of 0, that is A. What is the value that you get in second element? That is B. What is the value you get in the third element? That is C. But it will not display /0. Okay, this /0 is an indication that your string terminates here. Okay, okay, this is sort of demarcation. Otherwise in the array actually there are 40 characters, but in your string there are only 3 characters. Okay, let me show you another way of initializing the array. The first way, character array. The character array we initialize like this. There is a second method of initializing the character arrays also, and this method is not available for neither integer arrays nor float arrays nor double arrays. This will be specifically used for character arrays. How? You give your string within the double quotes. Suppose I want to store roof space, of course, see here, space, then Ali. In this I have to give it in the double quotes. This is another method for initializing the character arrays, that you have to give your string within the double quotes. The difference between the first and second method of the initialization is, that is, in the first method you give the character constants in the single quotes and it is a programmer's responsibility to give /0. But in second case you have to give the string within the double quotes, and of course you can have spaces in it. What the compiler will do, it will accordingly allocate it will accordingly save the respective characters of your string into the corresponding elements of the array. And now the R will be stored in str1 of 0, O will be stored in str1 of 1, U will be stored in str1 of 2, F will be stored in str1 of 3, the space will be stored in str1 of 4, A will be stored in str1 of 5, and L will be stored in str1 of 6, and I will be stored in str1 of 7. So how many characters does this string have? It has got 4 plus 3, that is 7. No, it has got 8, because space is also taken as a character. The number of characters in a string is called as a length of the string. Okay, this is another technical term. The number of characters in a string is also called a length of the string. This is excluding /0. Now the first string has a length 1, 2, 3 because it holds 3 characters. The second string has the length 8 characters because it has got 7 alphabets and 1 space. But in this method, that is second way of initializing the arrays, you don't give the /0. This is the easiest method. Suppose I want to store in str of 2, I am fine. How will I do it? Equal to I am fine. Okay, this is how I store. I am fine in this. Okay, now where is I stored? It is stored in the first element of str2 of 40. So that is str2 of 0. Okay, then space, this will be stored in the next element, then A, it will be stored in the third element, so on and so forth. And the last characters that will be put by the compiler itself is the /0, because string is a set of characters terminated by /0. Okay, let us see what happens here. I have declared an array. str. Now it is initialized to abc. Let me watch these strings also. I will watch str. Now, yes. Now after adding the watch, let us execute the program and see what happens. See, the first string, that is str, that's the first character array str, is assigned a string abc. That's a string with 3 characters. Okay. So after execution of this, it contains abc. The next string str1 is will be initialized to Rupali. Okay. And the third string will be initialized to I am fine. Okay. This is how it works. So there are two ways of initializing the character arrays. One is give the value of the each element by specifying its character constants. Okay. And another way is just give the string within the double quotes. In this case, you don't have to put each character in the single quotes, and you don't have to give /0. This method is the easier method. And if you have observed, the first array has got 40 elements, but I am only using the first, what you call, 3 elements of the array. In the second case, I am using the first 8 elements of the array, and in the third string, that is str2, I am also using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 locations of the array. But the array has got 40 locations. Okay. So one point is clear here, that if we have declared a larger arrays, it's not necessary that we will input all the elements or we will initialize all the elements. We can use the any element you want, and if we initialize, those values which you give will be assigned from the element number 0 with the element number 1 and which has got an index 0. Okay. Now let us see how we input the character arrays. I will make the task very simple for you at this stage, and I am going to have a separate video lectures on the character arrays, because I am preparing for you for some classes, video classes that will be followed after this class, so that I can use character data there. And this is not all about the character arrays what I am saying right now. It is just the prelims. First I showed you the method of initializing the character arrays, and there are in this I discussed the two methods. One is give the value of each element separately by the constant, and in the end you have to give /0. Second method is that you can directly give the values of all the elements like a string within the double quotes. Now, how do we input the character arrays? I will not be using the scanf and printf because they can be equally used, but there is a technical aspects that I need to explain there that I'll take in separate videos. I'll be using for inputting from the keyboard the function called as gets. Gets stands for get string, and in this you have to give the name of the string. Say suppose I say gets str. Now this is the name of the array. You have to give gets str. That is the name of the array. What it does, it accepts the string from the keyboard. That means it will accept the set of characters from the keyboard and store it in str. And before this, let me place here. Now let us execute the program and see how it works. Now we can take input from the keyboard. Okay, I say I am fine. Okay, see here in the what you call message, you will see in str it is stored I am fine. Okay, so once you take the input with the gets, it accepts a set of the characters from the keyboard and stores that string what you have typed in into the str array, into the str array starting from the first element, that is the first character you type will be stored in str of 0, so on and so forth, and till all the characters have been stored and they have occupied the corresponding positions in the array elements, and it will place the /0 itself, that is the gets will place the /0 itself. Since I have entered I am fine in this array, the rest of the elements are not used, only first few elements have been used depending upon the number of characters in the string, that is I am fine. Now let us see how we display the string on the screen. For that you have to use puts and you have to use str, name of the array that you want to display. Okay, gets is for the input and puts is for the displaying on the screen. Okay, let us see how it works. Now again I'm inputting the what you call string from the keyboard. I'll say what is your name. Okay, now I press this and I want to see in the close this window and tile windows again so that you can get a full view of this window and see. Now see what I have typed on the keyboard when I used gets is stored in a string str, and once if you want to display the same string on the user screen, you have to use puts. Very easy to use, and if you see here I'll show you the user area. See here you have got the first one is the input and the second one is the output of the same string. Okay, so we can use gets and puts to accept our character arrays from the user. In the gets you have to give the character array name, and in the puts you have to give again again you have to give character array name. You don't have to give format specifiers with gets and puts. Very simple and convenient ways of inputting the strings is gets and for what you call displaying the strings we have got puts. So for inputting the string we have got gets, and for displaying the string we have got puts. We can use equally scanf and printf for inputting the array or displaying the array, but the easier method is gets and puts. I hope today you have learned how to input the character data, how to display the character data, as well as how to input the character strings and how to display the character strings. The functions that we learned today are new functions that are related to the character data are getChar, getChe and getCh, and for displaying we have used putChar, and for the strings we can use gets. Get stands for getString, and for displaying the strings on the screen we can use puts. Okay, we have a /0 in the end of the string as a demarcation, because the character array, suppose str I have declared has got 40 elements, but all the 40 elements have not been used. We have only valid characters up to /0. When you use gets, it accepts the string and puts it into the array str and puts a /0 at the end. This is a demarcation for puts, that up to which character it has to display the elements of the array. Otherwise in str there are 40 elements and it will not display all the 40 elements. It will be you will get something what you call irrelevant output, because the characters after the /0, if they are displayed, they will be having the junk values. That is why we have got a /0 as an at the end of the string as a demarcation for the puts, up to which character it has to display the characters of the elements of a array. Okay, because string will always have a /0 at the end. I hope it's clear. Thank you.